Hi everyone, today's topic is something I feel like took me a while to figure out, and that's why I'm so excited to share this information and to share this framework that I came up with, because it's something that so many people need and it's something that I struggled with. Letting people drain your energy and ruin your day, either with conflict, with confrontation. That was the biggest thing for me. Just letting people bother me and ruin my day. With one single interaction, my day could be ruined. I'm sure that so many people can relate. When you have an argument with somebody, when someone says something snarky to you, when you have an interaction, if you work customer service. Before I did this, I used to work customer service, retail. There's so many examples, like I can't even think of everything now, but there's obviously so many examples of moments when you interact with somebody, or even if you see something online, you just have a negative situation, negative interaction with somebody. It drains your energy. You feel drained after that, and you feel like your day has been affected. Here's how you're going to not let that happen ever again. Ever again. With practice, you're going to stop being drained. You're going to let those roll off your back, but without disrespecting yourself. And this is not a video where I'm going to advocate for not defending yourself, anything like that. I totally do not think that people should be doormats. That's not what I'm saying at all, but I just want to make that clear because I actually hate that. That's even worse. I feel like for your energy and for your peace, letting yourself be a doormat, which I could actually make another video on that because I feel like that is a big issue that I see a lot of people doing too. Letting themselves be doormats in the name of keeping the peace. Anyways, let's get into it. You can wake up, feel fine, and then when one person says something, your whole energy shifts, and that is not random. Most people go through life and they are emotionally reactive. That is where that is coming from. You are emotionally reactive when that happens, when your energy is suddenly drained completely and you go from 100 to 0 in terms of like how your mood is doing, because you're being emotionally reactive and you're giving away your peace for free when you are like this. And if you identify with that, there you go. We're gonna just keep watching. So your energy is not something people can take without you allowing it. It's something that you unconsciously leak from your being, yourself. So we're not putting all the blame on all the outside situations. The way that you make your life better, the way that you take control of your life and your everyday interactions, is by taking responsibility. So you're gonna stop your energies and your vibes, like your cool, happy vibes. I'm gonna show you how to protect those and stop those from leaking out easily, and show you how you can stop being emotionally reactive. This is what I call the S.H.I.E.L.D framework. S.H.I.E.L.D, S.H.I.E.L.D. Step 1. In the S.H.I.E.L.D framework, the S stands for self-awareness first. Again, everything stems from self-awareness. You cannot live intentionally and you cannot live your true best life and become the best version of yourself by accident. It has to be on purpose. That's what intentional means, on purpose. And you have to be self-aware for that. So you have to recognize when and how your energy drops. So you ask yourself, what is draining me the most, and when do I feel rejuvenated and grounded? Those are the two opposites of the spectrum. The journaling prompt that I would recommend for this, you guys know I love journaling. And by the way, let me say, if you like topics about self-development, making money, becoming your dream self, more videos like these, subscribe. I try to put out videos like every week, and I'm going to be on my consistent grind. I've already been consistent, honestly, like, come on now. Okay, so journaling prompt. What situations make me feel tired, smaller, or off in some way? This can be so broad. This is so broad, you know? But this is going to give you a lot of time. And I'm telling you guys, if you haven't tried journaling can be so therapeutic and such a good moment to decompress and just get everything out there onto paper. It'll make you feel so much better. So write about this journal prompt, respond to the journal prompt, and after that, you're gonna have a lot more clarity about the situation. When you are aware, it makes, managing your emotions and your energy a conscious thing and not so emotional. Because yes, we're talking about emotions, but when you're, interacting with people, with things, you don't always want to be working off of emotion. You want to be logical. Logic makes you feel better. When you think things through logically, it can really bring you back and make you realize that your emotions might not always be logical. Because this is something that I had to learn as well. You can feel something doesn't mean that that emotion is correct or makes sense in the situation. Doesn't mean it's not valid. You're feeling that for a reason, but you need consciousness and logic. So here's a tip for the visual girlies out here. Imagine checking your energy meter throughout the day when you are encountering different things, or if something just happened to you, if you just had an argument with somebody. Check your energy meter. If you just doom scrolled, check your energy meter. How do different things affect you and your energy and your mood? H. The H in S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for hold emotional ownership. Again, accountability. Very important. So here's the thing. You need to realize that your emotions belong to you. You are the owner of your emotions. Duh. Like, that's simple, right? But not really, because some people put the responsibility of their emotions on other people. I've had this situation. I've had people in my life tell me that I am responsible for their emotions. That's not true. And it works the other way. In every single way, this applies to every single person. You're responsible for your emotions. Somebody could have done something to you. You are still responsible for your own emotions. No one makes you feel anything. Your nervous system is reacting. Your personality is reacting. You are interpreting the thing that they told you. So, in other words, you can be the problem. But I'm not coming for anybody. Like, I actually would love to tell a lot of people that you're the problem. Because a lot of people, let their day be ruined by certain things, and I'm guilty of this, letting some things really, or I used to be guilty of this until I worked through it. The key is this: pause before reacting. And I just want to underscore, again, you really need to be conscious of taking responsibility for your emotions and really believing this idea that no one makes you feel anything. It's very important. Anyways, so you pause before you react, and here's a quick tool to learn how to do this. You use the phrase, name it to tame it. So, for example, you're working, I'm not even going to declare that you're working retail. You feel disrespected. You just saw a family member and you feel disrespected. You name it. You just named that you feel disrespected after that or during that conversation, and then you decide how to respond. You don't respond immediately based off emotion. People can hand you chaos, bad vibes, negativity. They can hand it to you, but you don't have to open your hand and take it. You can reject that. You can let that go. The I in S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for identify your energy leaks. Here's how you're gonna do this. Simply find where you're giving away your energy subconsciously. That's another thing that can drain you. The examples that I've been giving are like conflict based, but there's so many things that can drain your energy. And one of those is when you're constantly having to over explain, people please, gossip, doom scroll, defend things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a squabble between you and somebody else. So you're gonna think deeper about what exactly is draining your energy. You have to ask yourself, where am I spending energy that gives me nothing in return? Doom scrolling. I sometimes also feel like really down after I doom scroll and I realize I just wasted that much time of the finite hours I have on this planet, and I wasted them watching videos that I don't remember and that I didn't really get a lot out of. Think about that when you're doom scrolling. For this step, the journaling prompt that I have for you is, who or what do I feel like I have to shrink around, and why? Again, this is a more broad journal prompt, and this is going to be a chance for you to really get deep into it with yourself. When you find these leaks, you're just gonna replace them with boundaries and with silence. And that leads me to the E in S.H.I.E.L.D. Establish boundaries that feel natural. Okay, that's pretty long. You want this to be effortless. You want this whole process to be effortless, right? I try to make everything in my videos as effortless as possible and not something that feels forced. Because we're not trying to do stuff for 1 week. We're not trying to implement actions and plans that are for 1 week, for 2 weeks. We're trying to implement things in our life to become a lifestyle. For this step, after you find what takes your energy, what drains your energy, you then notice where you have to find boundaries or replace it with boundaries or with silence. You're going to make putting those boundaries effortless. So you don't always have to implement a boundary with confrontation. Sometimes that's what it takes, but a lot of times that's not what it takes. Sometimes it's just distance. So for example, you don't have to explain your goals to negative people. You don't have to engage in every topic that comes up. You don't have to stay the entire time at the function. And you don't have to give access to everything and everybody. So you're gonna practice cutting off, for example, let's say you have a conversation that keeps coming up at work that makes you uncomfortable to talk about and it just drains you. You're gonna start thinking of ways to change the topic, or it's difficult to change the topic, bowing out of the conversation. You don't have to rush to cut people off, but continue to have these relationships with these people and just calmly put that boundary right there. And eventually people are gonna either get what you mean if you're not saying it with your words, but I would say probably you can put your boundaries first non-verbally, and if people don't get it, then you flat out tell them what you need to tell them. And another thing that's really important for establishing boundaries is graceful exits. You want to exit with neutrality. You don't want to be angry. You don't want to be faking happiness. You don't want to be overly happy. Just, be neutral about it and exit with a quiet confidence. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. Never think that you have to prove anything to anybody, because you don't. When you're confident in yourself, you don't need to prove a single thing. And you don't need to explain why you don't want to talk about something. It can be considerate. But if people are just straight up not getting it and you are not going to align or agree, just do a graceful exit. Practice the graceful exit. The L in S.H.I.E.L.D. is lead with a centered energy. This relates to the last part, is your graceful exit and emotional neutrality. You just want to be powerful but calm and replace your reactivity with calmness. One of my most popular videos is about magnetism. And the most magnetic people are unbothered, and they never over-explain and try to convince people. Magnetic people know that. So here's a tip. Speak slower, breathe deeply, make eye contact, because it shows that you are in control. This is a tip for your graceful exits and your conversation setting boundaries. Another journaling tip for this part L, lead with centered energy, is what would my calm and centered version of myself do in this situation? Whatever situation it is. Finally, we are at D in S.H.I.E.L.D. Detach and recharge daily. Emphasis on recharge. Recharging your energy is essential. What I find to be recharging is just doing things that bring you joy. I was actually talking to somebody recently about this, about how there's sometimes in life, there's periods where you go through extended moods where there's nothing truly bringing you a lot of joy and you're kind of in a down valley. You're in a valley, right? You're not at a peak, you're at a valley. And in those times, although you really need to do this at all times, but in those times specifically, you need to find things that bring you joy. And those are the things that recharge you. Recharge your energy, recharge your mood, bring your vibe up. Find the things that are going to do this for you. So after uncomfortable social interactions or whatever those things are that drain you, cleanse your mind, walk, journal, watch TV, honestly. I don't know what's going to recharge you, but do that. It doesn't matter what it is. Hold on. It might matter, but something that's healthy for you, just figure out what those things are and put them into a habit. A visual example of this, imagine releasing other people's energy. You're breathing in positivity. You're exhaling every negative thing that you encounter today. Literally visualize the positivity coming back in, the recharging, and releasing the negative vibes, or whatever it is that you're trying to release, and shake it off. Breathe it out. Actually, like, it's fall now. I don't know what time you're watching this, but right now it's fall. So I was thinking about fall and how this is I don't know, it's a really symbolic, every season has its symbols, but I really like the fall symbols, you know. You can find a symbol in anything. But just like the leaves, drop the energy that you do not need and that is not yours, and drop the bad habits. Transform yourself into a person that's not necessarily bothered by everything, and that's not reactive to everything, and that is supremely in control of herself, of yourself, and people cannot control you. Because here's the biggest thing that I want you to take away. When you allow people to get you ticked off like that, they can control you easily. Don't be controlled easily. That is really the biggest thing for me. I realized that I needed to make a change when I realized if I let people get me angry and ruin my day, they can steal my days, and no one's gonna steal my days. I am in control of my days, and I'm in control of myself. So what people do is their business. If they want to come try to bother me, you can try, but you're not gonna succeed. It's only what I allow, basically. That's the mindset I want you guys to have. Only the things you allow actually can affect you. You don't have to isolate yourself to protect your energy. You just have to shield it. Did you see what I did there? So shield, remember, self-awareness, holding ownership, identifying energy leaks or drains, establish boundaries, lead calmly, and detach daily, and recharge. Your energy and your mood is very important, and your time is extremely important. Like I said, you only have a limited amount of time on this planet. So use it wisely. Do not let anyone take it away from you. Do not let anyone ruin your mood easily, because if they can control you, and you're not going to be controlled by anyone. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments. I read all of them, or I try to. And if you have any video requests, let me know. And as always, stay blessed.